Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for that very, very warm welcome. That's very exciting. Okay, before we get started, though, I want to introduce a few members of my family tonight. First I'm going to introduce two granddaughters. I have two granddaughters here, Valerie and Laura, if they would stand up. But now I want to introduce my wife, and I think a lot of you know that today is a special day for us. Carol. And I have to admit, there are more people here tonight than were at our reception 51 years ago. No, it's very great. It's great that we could share this day with you, and we have been campaigning, throughout the state today. And of course, we were in the state of Washington yesterday. That was a relief being in the state of Washington yesterday. But the receptions have been very, very good, and the enthusiasm doesn't seem to be waning. It seems to be growing, and when I come here, it's wonderful. And when I'm asked, how does this come about, I'm just totally dumbfounded. I can't figure it out, so I have come up with this simple answer. Freedom is popular. And that's what the issue is. If we had to boil down our campaign and what we all believe in, it's not complex. We don't get into the nitty-gritties of what we should do here and there and how you regulate this and who you tax and who you don't tax and all this mischief. Really what America is all about is freedom and our individual liberty and getting the government off our backs and out of our homes. And I think that one consensus that we all share is that we have a mess that has been created by too much government. And how did we allow that to happen? Well, we got too complacent as a people. And what has happened is we've had too many people in the Congress, too many people in the executive branch, too many people in the judicial system that flat out ignore the Constitution. What we need are people who will stand firm on the Constitution. And the great part about the Constitution is it brings us together. What it does, it brings us all together with our different viewpoints, and then we allow people to come and lead their own lives as they choose. We don't have to tell people what religion they have to believe in, what their social obligations are. Everybody's life is their own, and that's what freedom is all about. In the same way, it means that we get to spend our money the way we want to. But there's one bit of a problem, I don't see as a problem, but one thing we have to consider when this comes about and when we did have a lot more freedom is that we're responsible for ourselves and responsible for our freedom. And if everybody were to be responsible for themselves, it would be just fine. And there would be not this dependency on the government. We wouldn't have the nanny state. We wouldn't have the American empire. And we wouldn't have this legislative system of government where we can't do anything with our property unless we get permission from our government. But there's no doubt in my mind that we as a people and as a country are facing a crisis. And I think we probably wouldn't be here tonight if we didn't understand that and realize how serious this is. And fortunately for us who believe in limited government and the Constitution, we don't have to start a brand new revolution. All we have to do is restore the principles of the original revolution. In spite of all our problems, we still must be very grateful and thankful that we've had the chance to live in America. America is the greatest country, it's been the freest, and it's been the most prosperous. But of course, what we're witnessing is the loss of some of those freedoms, and eventually there'll be the loss of the prosperity, because today the prosperity we have is not real. It's all based on debt. Individual debt, corporate debt, government debt, international debt. It's just overwhelming, and therefore our house is built on sand. It's not built on rocks, and therefore it can be pushed over rather easily, and therefore we must do something quickly, and that's what this campaign is all about. I have been involved in the freedom movement for a long time, since the early 70s. It was the breakdown of our monetary system then that motivated me to learn and study economics and to run for office. And yet, even a year ago, when at the request of many individuals to run for this office, I was very reluctant. I was skeptical and just couldn't believe there'd be that many people that would show up for our anniversary party. I just didn't believe that would happen. Now, I didn't know how the young people would respond. I didn't know how big the remnant was, since nobody knows how big the real remnant is. So evidently it was much bigger than I ever dreamed, because I have been astounded at the receptions that we have been getting, and I thank you for that. We started off slowly. Our biggest hang-up in the early part of the campaign is we had one advisor and one secretary, and the information was leaked out that I was going to form an exploratory committee, and from that moment on we've been overwhelmed, and it is difficult to keep up with everything, and I feel badly sometimes when the responses don't come as quickly as they should, but it's also a sign of the strength and the enthusiasm of the campaign, and really it has turned out that you're the campaign, I'm not the campaign. I am glad you have invited me to be part of your campaign. But a lot has happened in this last year. We have had a lot more support and a lot more money raised than I ever dreamed. And a lot of events have occurred. There were 11. There are only 4 right now. That's a movement in the right direction. But economic events have changed a whole lot in this last year as well. I was taken back a little bit the other night when Tim Russert said that now that foreign policy, essentially he said this, now that foreign policy is not the top issue and the economy is the top issue, tonight we're going to talk about the economy. Well, the truth is you can't talk about our economy without talking about our foreign policy.